Hiya, me again. I had to stop for a little bit before I could make a wreath because I needed a break. Sometimes, I don't know about you, and I don't know if this is because of my disability or what, but all my life I've gotten to a point about midway through the day where I have to stop. I have to eat something, or I have to rest. Even when I was going to school, I'd have to lay down or something, sometimes in the nurse's office, or in the LD room, or even just put my head down on the desk. Mom said she used to do that when she'd get sick, feeling sick at school. But sometimes I just need to eat something, which is easier for me to forget to do now that I lost the weight. I used to be, and I still am, a food addict. But the longer I go from the surgery, the easier it's getting. And plus, I've been working with a therapist, helping me not to see food as an emotional crutch, just a tool to survive. And I think that's helping a lot, but now I forget to eat. I'm more apt, and I was this way when I was a kid, but I get yelled at and told to eat. But I'm more apt to drink my meals. Water, or, grab a quick soda to help give me a pick-me-up. That's where a lot of the weight came from. Quick pick-me-ups like soda, candy bars to make me feel better when I get bullied at school. Now what? Food's just a tool, and I keep forgetting to use it. All right. Yes, this is the third video where I'm wearing the same clothes. It's all in the same day. I'm just bored. But I'm not going out that much because, well, obviously the COVID thing. And if you think I'm going to put my teeth in just to talk to you all, sorry, you're mistaken. I know I look better with my teeth in, but I don't like wearing them. First thing you do, obviously, is cut your price tags off. And do not stress when you do this, you're going to get little stuff everywhere. You can sweep later. If you don't have a lot of room, now it does help to have a turntable even if you're not painting. Even if you're just doing a craft like a wreath, it does help to have a turntable so that you can move your work. If you don't have one, take 2 cake pans or pie pans. The tin ones you can get at like Dollar Tree, Walmart, whatever. Put marbles in the bottom one and put the other one on top. You got yourself a Lazy Susan. All right. Right now, first we've got the pumpkin, which is going to be my project for me. But I want to make a harvest, what I'm calling a harvest wreath, because I frankly don't know when Thanksgiving is in Canada. Anybody know? But my friend lives in Canada. And her favorite color is orange. Now, should we use the wooden frame or the green frame? I think we're going to go with the wooden. Here's the pine cones I picked up after Christmas last year. After Christmas is a great time after a major holiday. Christmas, Valentine, you can get all kinds of crafting stuff after a major holiday because they don't want to have to put the stuff away. Use that to your advantage. Now, you'll see me looking behind me because I don't have a big enough, my dream if I ever buy my, no, let's not say ifs, let's stop. Let's say when. I'm going to be positive. When I buy my first house, I'm going to do so with the number of rooms in mind for a solely craft room. I don't care if I have to cannibalize a bedroom. Spare bedrooms make great craft rooms. Pardon me, I got to go under the table to retrieve that. Be right back. Spare bedrooms make great craft rooms. Not only do you have the closet for storage, and some of your craft items you can actually hang from the clothes in the line in the closet, like spools of ribbon. Get a coat hanger. Snip out one end, slip your spools in it, and then just tape it up. And, if you don't have any other, or Or take the center rod out of a wire coat hanger, drop that, and then take a pair of tin snips and curl the edges around a dowel rod so that you can move the dowel rod out, and then string these on it and hang it up in the closet. Ideas, but see, if you have a bedroom to spare to do that with, if you get company and you don't want to put away all your crap stuff, and especially if they've got little kids or pets, or little kids and pets, or the husband acts like a little kid, or the wife, whatever, then you can shut your door and your projects out of sight, out of mind. Safer and easier. Now I have a hot glue gun warming up. You can do one of two things. You can warm it up and have it sitting on a paper plate or above a paper plate for the glue to drip onto. I thought I had paper plates. I can't find them. I think I used them all the last time I was using my canvas to paint, because sometimes I just put paint on the paper plate. Toss it when I'm done. So I've got a saucer, and I've just got it sitting on the edge, just like that. Ask mom's permission first, folks. If your kids, ask permission. Don't use a hot glue gun unless adults are around. Other disclaimer, I don't own the music. Good. Business complete. If you're using a regular plate, let the glue dry and it'll pop right off. If it doesn't, put it in hot, soapy water and it'll still come right off, especially if it's something like Dawn or something. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, because I still haven't quite decided if I want to use this one, but I think I like this one. I was going to use that one, but I like this one. Because this one I can give you an idea also of how to hide things, you know, for, I'm going for a harvest theme, you can go for Christmas or whatever. So take tags off. Now this is going to be flattened down. See how flat this is in the front? Because they put them in those boxes to store them. Just like when you have to shape your fake Christmas tree, which you should have to do when you're redoing it. I actually love that part. You just move the branches up a little bit so they look a little more normal. They're not going to be that flat in nature. That's one thing I love about nature. It ain't perfect. Makes me feel right at home. Now, I usually poke them so they're sticking straight up. And then I kind of just run my hand over it a little bit and smooth it back out. I'm not tucking them all the way, but I kind of want them to go in a certain direction, kind of in the same direction. See what I'm doing? Just laying them down a little bit, because you're going to need to get under those, so don't lay them completely flat. But you are moving them up a little bit, and then just kind of follow the wreath form around so they look a little bit more 3D. See the difference? That side hasn't been shaped, and that has. Because if you're going to hang this up anywhere, it's going to be seen from not just close up, but you want to give it dimension so that it can be seen easily from a distance, if you have the vision for that. I like to keep them standing up a little bit more, though, because it makes it easier to put the lights on sometimes. Sometimes it makes it harder. You'll have to figure that out. Hold on. Let me get rid of this wooden wreath form. I think we're going to use this one for roses. Because I couldn't find my heart-shaped wreath form. I know I have it. I just don't know where I have it. I think it's actually in one of the footstools. But I've got Archer's gear drying on the footstool, so I don't want to take it off. I have to take his leather gear apart, oil the leather, and clean the felt every once in a while. Because that felt will start to stink and get stiff, and the leather gets all stiff. So then you have the trouble of getting the pine cones out of this net bag. That's such a pain in the rump. Now, like I've said before, or will have the other videos uploading, so you probably haven't seen it yet. or you will have by the time we get this one done. If you're doing a one color theme or mostly one color, you still like to have some kind of highlights. Well, orange is the color I'm going to really play with fall colors. Browns, oranges, a little bit of green. I still have to figure out how to mail this. Mom will help me find a box. She usually does. So, and this pine cone's a little bit big, all right? This one's small enough that it can be nestled. But now with a big one like this, what you might want to do, we're not going to do this yet. I'm just opening the bag. Don't put anything on yet. But the bigger pine cone can go at the top with a bow on top. That's probably what we'll do. I hate making bows. Get everything opened up before you start. Because once you start working with the hot glue, you don't want to have to stop and open things up, because hot glue tends to run. It can run everywhere. If you're not careful, someone might get burned if you're not attentive to it. And it's electric, so you're gonna wanna get everything open first. And if you have cats, be careful. They like to play with these little balls. All right. Even some dogs like to chase these little toys around. I don't have a clue where that one went. I'll find it later. I think the only reason I clean my apartment so much is sometimes I get bored. So, today I got bored, so I've been talking to you. I'm going to use 2 different lights so far. I'm going to use these maple leaves. Now, I might do more than one of these. I might. Now, when you do these, see how tiny little that screw is? You're going to need to get in there to put batteries in there. I have a screwdriver that's that right size. If you need to fight with it, put the batteries in first. I happen to not have enough batteries, so I can't do that, or I would. But you need, if you're somebody you know has eyeglasses and you don't wear them, ask them, go buy an eyeglass repair kit. You can get them at Dollar General, Dollar Tree. You can get them anywhere for little to nothing. If you don't know anybody who has eyeglasses who might have one, go buy an eyeglass repair kit. The screwdriver in that kit will work for this. Or go raid your husband's toolbox. Now, that's about the size for the lights. You don't have, it's not a very long string. So the first thing you're going to do is turn your wreath form to the back so that the back is facing up. Choose which part is going to be the back for you and turn your wreath form to the back. Not on this side, because that's how you access the compartment, okay? And I'm going to put batteries in it before I give it to her. On the back here, if your glue gun's ready to go, notice I didn't shape on the back. You want to keep the back flat. Put a whole bunch of hot glue. Now you could also use Elmer's glue. You could use, I've done that. I've used Gorilla Glue. I even used mounting tape or those zip ties you've seen me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it and let it dry. Then I'm going to go in with those green ties that you saw me working with earlier, and then I will tie it on. In fact, give me a second to find some and we'll do that right now. You could also use floral tape. In fact, why don't we use floral tape? Just open your floral tape. Always have a pair of scissors that are donated for different rooms. These are actually my kitchen scissors because my crafting scissors have ran off with Alice and they went to Wonderland or something, I don't know. But it's a good idea to have kitchen scissors for the kitchen, and then crafting scissors for your craft room, desk scissors for your office. Different rooms should have different scissors, in my opinion. because I'm always losing my scissors. So it's good to have multiple pairs and know where to find them. See, I'm teaching you from my mistakes. Now, I couldn't get this pulled off, but see how it should just pull, it didn't pull off that correct way for me, but maybe your hands are in better shape than mine. So just pull off the tape part. Try to remember how to use this stuff. Now, it's not sticky. It's called floral tape, but you need tape, which I've always thought was kind of weird. But I use Scotch tape because it's clear. I use a clear tape. This way it will be held on, but they can remove it if they need to do the batteries. See? You just tape it down like that and then wrap it around. Or if you're using it to hide the wires, put it over the wire and bring the floral tape back up under the whole wreath, just like this. And wrap it around the wire and then tape it in place on the back side. Now, that's going to begin to hold that in place. And see, the box is already stuck. Now, you've got your lights. I'm using maple leaves for this round. You don't have a very big wreath form, and you don't have very many lights. So you may not want to go real tight, depending on how many lights you want to have on your wreath form and the size of your wreath form. Obviously, if you're doing a 26-inch wreath form, you're definitely going to use more lights, and you might want to invest in a longer lights set. But you use what you got, and I knew I didn't have I only have two 26-inch wreaths, and they've got to be disassembled before I can repair them. I'm going to have to special order the lights from Amazon for them, and those will not be sold because the lights will cost me. I'm going to use battery pack lights that are $8 a set that are programmable. Now, if you want to use something like that instead of Dollar Tree lights, go ahead. This is your creative project. Nobody's going to tell you what to do on your project. If you're a kid and you've got an adult helping you, you can ask for your adult's opinion always, and they would like that. But this is still your project. Now, we left that alone as we wrapped. See, we've got those lights on there. Now all you need to do is bring it through, and we're just going to try to hide the wires just a little bit. So go along the path where you can see the wires and wrap the floral tape. Remember, this floral tape, it's crepe paper, people. It's not sticky, and it's crepe paper. So it's going to twist and everything, and it's not going to be perfect. You're just going to hide the wires a little bit if you want to do that. And that's how you use the floral tape on this wreath. But I've decided I'm not going to do that because I hate working with green and floral tape because, well, it's a mess. And I don't have patience sometimes for a mess. So what? Now, we got halfway around with one set of lights. Okay? And sometimes this will happen. You'll get a set of lights on and not like how you've got them put. So don't glue them down. You can glue them down in the end. But if you are not sure how they're going to look, you want to be able to unwind them. Because we got most of the maple leaves on the back side of the wreath. I don't want that. I want it on the front side. So there's an easy fix to this. Unwind it. Now, it's a pain in the butt, but just bear with me, because we all make mistakes. Just unwind it and pull it a little tighter. It's not going to hurt anything to pull the lights tighter and use more than one strand. So just tightly pull the strands a little tight and weave them in and out of the greenery. Can you? Let me show you. See? Now when you're on the back side, you still want to watch these bows so that you don't get your lights too badly tangled. Because if you need to unwind these for a repair, or the whole set dies on you and you need to rewind them, you need to be able to reach them. So don't tie them down, so to speak. I mean, you can twist tie them on, but this is clear. This is clear, see? So the colors won't really matter. Just don't get them too tangled in the bows, because it could also cause your lights to short. I did that one time. I got the lights too tangled in the bows, and unbeknownst to me, I had damaged this part of the cord. Didn't cause a fire or nothing. They just didn't look right. It wouldn't work, and they didn't look right. They looked like crap because I had a big hole where the lights had stopped working. And I was mortified because I had put this up, not testing it or nothing, before I had guests. And I was so embarrassed that I was so proud of my little wreath, and then it wouldn't even light up. Now, when you get to the final light, see, it's right there. That's where you can put another bead of hot glue, because there's no way to plug another strand into this. So just pull a little bit so that you have a little extra, and open the bows so that you're close to the wreath form itself. We're going to tuck this under the bows and then just glue it on. Don't glue your fingers, whatever you do. I'm going to see if I can find some batteries in a little bit, but see, we just glued it on right there. Now I've got another set of these maple leaves right here, which I told you got to be prepared, but I wasn't prepared. Practice what you preach, Tanya. Give me a second. I need to get this knot undone. I think these looks like 2 double A's, which I do have. And I have them under the fish tank. The fish tank has a couple of drawers on the thing that it's sitting on, and I use those to hold things, because you don't get a lot of storage in a senior apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment. All right, now see how that one leaf is just sticking up there? That's fine, that's cool. But what we're gonna do, you're gonna go back to the back of the wreath. Now at the bottom, just like we did a few minutes ago, you're gonna take your box. Now remember, make sure the screw hole is not with this on the side you glue down. I've done that too. So make sure you can access the screw hole to change the batteries. And you can do just little lines. You can do several continuous. I would put a lot of hot glue on the back here though. You can never have too much. If nothing else, the hot glue dries and you pop off the excess. So don't be afraid of the hot glue. Put it on the form and just hold it there for a second. Just give it a quick sec for the hot glue to dry. We can make faces at each other while it dries. See? That fast. Bing, bang, boom, you're back in business. Now, we stopped. That's another reason I put this leaf so that it was sticking up, not just for looks. When you've got it, you see you've got a longer space in your cord before your first light. So always wrap that around a couple of times to take up that cord so that it doesn't look like you've just got loose cord and then you've got wreath, 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 light, wreath, 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 light. It wouldn't look good. You have too much blank space. We don't want a lot of blank space. So what we're doing, again, is just now you've got the battery pack in the way. So what you're going to do, go to the side, and then go back under. And then when you come back around, instead of going over the back like this, don't do that, because then you can't access your battery. Always go like that. Plus this little leaf, we can glue it so that it sticks right there. That's just fine. We can do that. Go ahead and pull it tight. But never go over your battery pack like that, because you will not be able to access your batteries. How do I know this, you ask? Well, I had to break a battery pack because I couldn't get it off the Wreath form, and I had wrapped the lights around where I couldn't get the lights off. Or the Wreath battery pack, I had to break the whole thing because I had glued all the lights down, and I glued them over the battery pack. So it's another case of do as I say, not as I did. And just, you know, you got those boughs sticking up. The reason why we did that is so you can wind these lights through the boughs, just like that. Just like that. Now, we're at the other battery pack. Now, the thing is, sometimes this will happen. Don't flip out on me. We're not going to put a third thing of lights on, but see the gap? This is the last light. This is the first. We have a big gap right there. That's fine. If your gap is at the top of your wreath, that's okay. That's where you're going to put your bow, maybe a pine cone, some type of decoration, a bell, something. So you don't worry about that. Let's not stress that. Now we had 2 leaves we want to glue down, remember? The one at the top that we just finished with, glue it in place, just like that, and take this maple leaf on the bottom where we had to go over the battery pack, and you just put some glue. You can put the glue, a dab of glue right on the light. It's not going to hurt it. And then just squish it to the greenery. Okay, that's that. I will light this up after. Either that or I'll have you wait a minute and I'll go get some batteries, but I don't know. I'll have to find a screwdriver. So I will insert a small video after this one of this lit up. Now just shape your boughs, and you're not going to really see the limbs. You're going to be just fine with that. Shape your boughs at the top where you have that gap. Shape your boughs side to side. What I mean, shape the boughs going this way, shape the boughs going this way. Leave a flat type of spot right there. You want a flat type of spot right there. All right, that's where our topmost decoration is going to go. Now then, what else are we going to put on our wreath? Now's the time to play. Now's the time to have a little more fun and get some actual ornaments on here. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can glue them down, or you can go grab some wire, zip ties that I showed you before. The green ones would work. I've got ornament hooks. If you're going to put them on the same saucer that your hot glue gun is resting on, make sure they're away from your hot glue gun, or you will glue them all together in one big knot. Trust me, you don't want that. Now, I'm not exactly doing a Christmas wreath here, and I'm not exactly doing a Halloween wreath. So what kind of decorations, kind of give a little bit of thought to what kind of season is the wreath for, or person is the wreath for, because you can personalize your wreath. There's nothing saying that you can't personalize your wreath. All right? And this is for a lady whose favorite color on the planet is orange. The maple leaves are a nod because she's Canadian. And so what I'm going to do, first you thread it through just like a regular ornament, but then you straighten out these two hooks, or these two ends. And these are really easily to mold, so these are great to use. Plus it still has a little swing. That's cool. We like that. So I'm just going to move the boughs a little bit because I want to tuck this against the wreath form so the wires reach all the way around. You want to go under the boughs because if you try to go over, your wire might not reach. And sometimes if you're using hot glue, if you just glue to the boughs, which I'm calling these the boughs, I forgot to clear that up, I'm sorry. If you just glue to the boughs, sometimes the boughs will fall out because of the hot glue. And then you can have a big gap in your wreath, or if the wreath is where it's outside a little bit, it's going to get knocked around if it's on the door, stuff like that. So you want to be able to make, and plus I like a little bit of movement. I've decided we're going to put a pine cone up here with some bells coming off of it. Now, I don't know whether we're going to use this pine cone. We probably will. I like this pine cone, but this pine cone is rather large. But I like the smell of this pine cone. So what I'm going to do is gather a few of these that I don't think I'll use on these smaller wreaths and set them aside. The reason being, these will work better on a 26-inch or bigger wreath. See how big that pine cone is? So that's how that goes. But that will work fine. So we'll keep this gold one aside. Now that was a glitter one, so now we're going to do, now I did pull a couple other colors. I've got some purple here. I've got some gold doves. I've got, I don't know what all I'll use. And then maybe you don't until you get to started doing it. Maybe you have no idea what it's going to look like until you're completely done. That is just fine. That is perfectly all right. You don't have to know. Someone once told me you don't have to know what your project is going to look like. It will tell you as you go on. Now that sounds like hokey, but I kind of like it. In other words, you're going to look at it and say, I like that, or no, I don't like that. And if it's no, I don't like that, you just change it. Easy peasy. So, we're going to, so that's what we've got so far. Archer, go lay down. Archer, excuse me a moment. Archer, go lay down. He's bored and wants to go outside and play. That's not an I gotta go potty bell, that's an I'm bored and I want to look out the door. How do I know this? He was pottied before we got busy with the wreath. I'm going to put several of these little orange ones on. Now you noticed one was glittery, one was shiny, one's flat. The lady who I'm doing this wreath for, her favorite color on the planet, which I probably already said this, is orange. So, yeah, we'll do that. But I don't think that's all I'm going to put on there. I think I've got some snowflakes. I don't know if it snows in Canada around November or not, but we're going to assume it does. Hey, give me a break. I've never been there. Anyway, you could use doves. That would be pretty. You could use whatever you have on hand. An old Christmas ornament that broke years ago and never got tossed out. Cannibalize it. So that you can create something new. If you got something that is a memory for you, something that you treasure, that you love, that you don't want to see, you would like to see used again some other way, because it means something to you maybe, use that. there is no hard, fast rule saying this wreath has to look like something out of JCPenney, Target, Walmart, or even a fancier store. No. And you know, I was told one time that when you make something homemade, you like to leave an imperfection. That when the Native Americans make those rugs and stuff they make, that I was told that they would purposely leave, or long time ago, they would leave a imperfection in the craft. That shows that someone took the time to hand make it. And if you're going to make the time to make something, wouldn't that mean a lot more? Yeah, look, if you look at the back, you're going to have some some lights that are on the back. Just push them through real gently. They'll just pop through the opening. No big deal. Okay? Now I twist tied that bow at the bottom. It's a Christmas bow I got on the after Christmas sale, and it had a twist tie on it already. So I popped it on there. You know, hey, we're going to use what we got, right? It doesn't always have to be glued either. You can use other different methods to make things pretty. Use your imagination. Let it fly. Have fun. If you're not personalizing this for somebody, or even if you are, use your own vision. They'll love it because it comes from you. You took the time and the care and the love to create something. I'm trying to do this by feel. That's why I looked away from the camera. To create something with your time, your energy, your supplies. To me, that would mean a heck of a lot more than going in the store and buying it. I mean, everybody likes something nice that's bought, or as my grandmother used to say, it's bought. But at the same time, I prefer, I mean, it takes thought to go in and pick something out for somebody from a store, sure, and it takes money and time. Unless you're rich enough to have a personal shopper. I don't know anybody that's that rich. But when they do this, and then you go give it to somebody, and they can look at it later and go, they made that for me. It wasn't just, I don't know, for me it means more. Then that happens. Be careful, sometimes your ornaments can fall off the end of your straightened wire. See, that's why I wanted to do this on camera, so you'll see the flub ups and the successes of it. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to keep this a little bit minimalistic. I think I know where my screwdrivers are at to put batteries in the lights so you can see it. You might just have to hold on a second while I find them. But if you watched me this long, that won't kill you, will it? Now, sometimes you're going to have extra wire, so just double wire it. And sometimes you don't want something to hang down. That would look a little fruity, right? Since it's at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is glue it up. So it's sitting up. And then just close the other bow behind it. So I put a little bit of glue back in the glue gun. That's what you do. You grab your glue stick. Unless you can't grab it with one hand because the bag closed on you. That can be difficult. Sometimes living alone is a real pain. Because when I'm painting, I liked living at home in that I could call Mom and go, yo, Mom, look at this and tell me if I missed any spots. Or, Mom, I got my hands full. Grab blank for me. Or you know, someone to help me if something happens in the middle of a project and I don't want to stop. Now, sometimes if you don't want to, you like the wires, but you don't like where it's sitting, glue it. Even though it's tied to it, go ahead and glue it. It's not going to hurt nothing. It's not going to hurt nothing. Here's what we've got so far. See, and you can even sometimes without gluing it, just use the bows, move things around, use the bows to change the position of whatever if you don't want to glue it. Just wrap it around like that. Here's what we've got. Now, I'm going to add something else. But what? I don't know. Let's see what we got. We've got snowflakes. Like I said, if it's going to be summer, if you're doing this and you're doing it for someone and it's going to be summer in their hemisphere, then you might not want to go with snowflakes. Just use your common sense, you know? But since I know pretty much it's going to snow, I can use the snowflakes and not feel like I might have put something on that she wouldn't like. I do have other glittery things, I just can't find them. Sometimes even when you put things nice and neatly in a tub, the tub tries to defeat you. Now see, if this was a Christmas wreath, I'd put these on. But I'm not going to, because I'm not really going for a Christmas theme. I'm not going for Halloween either. I'm just going for kind of a cute factor, you know? Like I said, harvest. If I had more harvest stuff, I would do like a cornucopia. Might be nice. A little cornucopia would be great, but since I don't have all that, I'm going to go with a couple of pine cones and some of these snowflakes. Now, what you put on it is totally individualized. It is completely individualized. These are really thin. See how thin they are? So when you're using these, because you get a pot full of them for $1. And see how big it is against this wreath? We're not going to be using many of these because their size is just too difficult. I think the size is wrong, personally. So I'm not going to use that. I don't like the size of it. But, I mean, maybe you do. Maybe the person you are doing this for would absolutely flip thinking that was adorable. That's great. But I'm being picky. Give me a sec. Give me a second. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Sometimes you can't find what you're looking for when you're looking for it. All right, if it was Christmas, we could also use these little reindeers. Let's pull one out and see what we think. Because I have an idea. Now the reindeer are just as thin as the snowflakes. Okay, so it's not going to take much glue for these. I have an idea. Put the snowflake at the bottom, a reindeer here, because this can function as a Christmas wreath if she wants it to, and a reindeer here, pine cone or a bow here at the top. We'll see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, what you could also do, now I'm not going to do it, but I have done it before. Cut 2 pieces off of the snowflake so you have a flat side. Nestle it in the green. Here, give me a sec. Nestle it in the green like this, so that the snowflake is actually sitting more like that. You could do that. In fact, we might even do that. Now, if you don't want to cut the snowflake, turn your form over. Got your snowflake. I'm going to put it right near the battery pack. I'm going to sit it straddling the battery pack like that. See? But I'm going to put this bulb end with the hanger on it down. So what it will do, I'll put one there, put one there, and it will look something like that. Now, be careful of your lights. Sometimes it doesn't matter, like this is thin enough and fine enough, it's not going to matter if the lights get behind it, but sometimes your decorations are too big and your lights, if it gets behind it, will not be able to be seen. Now, when you're doing glue on a snowflake, you glue down the veins of the snowflake. And now just tuck it in by that battery pack. You're gonna burn your fingers more than once when you do something like this. Just accept it. Watch your cussing if you got kids in the house. Little pictures, big ears. And now I like to put a piece of glue on the top of the snow, to anchor it more. And the tips, not the top, the tip. Tips of the snowflakes to anchor it. Now, let me show you, since I didn't show you before. Hold on, my glue's got a dribbling problem. I'm not going to use that string, but if I try to pull it off with just one hand, it's going to cause problems. And sometimes you can't get something like that off without destroying your decoration. So what you do is you tuck it in the back, where you're going to put the glue and stuff. Just tuck it in the back, just like that, and hold it with your thumb. Now, see the vein right there, the main structure of the snowflake? Go right down the center of it. Now, go down the limbs. Go straight down, not out to the side, because if you go this way, you're going to have strings of glue everywhere. And then put on the two snowflakes next to it, go across the tip, just like that. And then you just press it into place wherever you want it. The reason why we're doing this on the back is because we're going to hide some of the snowflake. Some of your decorations are too big for the wreath form, and if you didn't hide part of the decoration or cut it down, it would look awkward. Sometimes it looks awkward even after you get it glued in place. This is a trial and error thing. All right, now, like I said, trial and error. We're doing this together. What do you think? Just mess around with your lights a little. Maybe put a pine cone there to hide the rest of the battery pack. How's that? Archer, no. I know you want to go play outside, but not right now. Now, we got a bigger cone, but isn't he pretty? We got that one. We've got one with some red on it. I don't know which one we should go with. So just try them both out and look in the mirror or get your friends. I think the green one would hide the wraps better, but it's got a color that's gonna mix in so much. The red will stand out just a little bit. Just a little bit. And we're gonna use more than one of these pine cones anyway. So, we've also got gold. We could put a gold pine cone down there. So what we're gonna do, you run your glue down like that on the pine cone. You're gonna get it, it'll fall in between the tips, that's okay. But just like that. I need one of y'all here to hand me glue sticks. Who's gonna come craft with me, Let me know down in the comments if you're driving up my way. We'll craft together. Now you ask, see, I set the pine cone down to get the glue, and see the stringies that developed? So don't do what I did. Make sure you have your glue sticks ready in case you need another one. And make sure you get plenty of glue. The pine cones are going to be one of the things that's going to have a hard time sticking, so you might want to go side to side and up and down. Use plenty of glue. Pine cones are sometimes a pain to work with. I'm going to put it right down here where part of that battery box is sticking up. And you can see it. I'm trying to hide it. So I'm sticking this to the back part of the battery box that was showing. Hold it for a little bit and then you move it. See? Now, I like the way that looks. Now, if we wanted to use we could just use one and stick it at the top. Or you could put more decorations along the sides. But I'm trying to keep it a little bit more minimal. You can be as extravagant with this as you want. Some people like minimalistic wreaths. Some people like great big honkers that have a ton of glue and not glue. Well, they probably have that too, but a ton of ornaments and stuff. Now, if you're like me and you keep forgetting to grab your glue sticks, stop for a second and get some out of the bag. And lay them out on the table near your glue gun. Not on the same tray as the glue gun, they may melt. But on your table next to your glue gun. That's going to make that easier. Now, like I said, some of these are thin, not well made, but they're really pretty. So be careful, because if you have to pull these deer back off, you're going to pull off the gold decoration, and you probably will ruin the deer might not be usable afterward. It might ruin it, to be honest. That's what happened to that Merry Christmas that I showed you a couple of videos ago that was broken. Yeah, it had a fight with itself, I guess you could say. It got taken, it fell off, it came off. I didn't put enough glue on it. So it came off, and when it came off in chunks. I will be able to fix it to use on another wreath by using other decorations to hide the imperfection and then attaching it in a different spot. I'm gonna stick myself to the pine cone. That's what I'm gonna do. I like the silver and the gold together. That way if she does want to use this for Christmas, she can. If she doesn't, she doesn't have to. It doesn't blatantly say Christmas, so she can't. It can be a multiple use wreath. If I lived right next door to her, I might do a different thing, but since it's got to go all the way to Canada, I'm not going to do just a one holiday thing. I want her to be able to reuse it. But I love the pine cone look. I think it's really pretty. So I'm gonna, I like to include the pine cones. Plus, I mean, you should smell these things. But I think too much, it could be too much. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this little gold bell. Now you may not agree with me about the bell. That's fine. It ain't your wreath. I like to attach the bells to the back to the back side so that they hang down. Now, when you're holding something that you're hot gluing, be very careful. Even if you're an adult, this is not just regular glue that you can get smeared all over your fingers and play with like we used to when we were in school. This is the hot glue, obviously, so be careful that you don't burn yourself. But what I did, I attached it to the back kind of high up because I wanted the bells to just barely peek out from under the pine cone, so that if they're on the door, she can tell when someone opens the door. It's a very simple wreath. There's not much to it. I didn't want there to be a lot to it. I wanted her to be able to just enjoy a little bit. But now, if you don't want to use the wire tie like I did, and you want to glue these, what you're going to want to do, this cap, don't take it off because some of the ornaments will come apart easier. It does have a structural use. I don't know much about it, but I am going to add more of these. Take the glue on the cap at the base. Just glue all the way around it. And then just cover that cap with the hot glue. Cover it all up. Now, nestle that cap right in the greens, right in the boughs. And hold it there for a second till it gets a chance to grab a hold. And that's how you glue those onto the wreath form. We're going to add some more because she loves orange, like I said, and I'm doing this, you know, mainly for her. If I had any musical notes, I would add those for her husband. He is a great musician. I got to hear him play the guitar one night. When I was talking to her on the phone, he came in from a music lesson that he had been giving, and he asked what I wanted to hear, and so he played Nightbird, and I've never heard it done so well in my life. He did such a fabulous job. And just add a few of these in. It's kind of good sometimes to have more than one way of something secured to the wreath. It gives a different, a different style. I think 2 pine cones is going to be good. But that's how you make a wreath. You know, now all we got to do is add the batteries, but I honestly don't know where the batteries are or where the screwdriver is. But, you know, let this thing dry for a good, I'd say, half an hour before you go adding the batteries. Make sure the glue is completely dry before you go messing with it too much on its face, because you're gonna have to flip it over on its face to add the batteries, and you want to be able to mess with it without pieces falling off. That's how you make a wreath. I hope y'all had fun. Bye.